Hello, my name is Coach Nade. This is part 2 of the FIU Panthers VOD review. So, from the last VOD, if you guys were following along, these guys were, just going against the same team as before. And it looks like now for this round on Clintar, we're going to match what they're running. The only difference is, like I said, so they ran the Hello plus the Magic. Our team is going to try to mimic that and see what we can do. Kind of see, we'll play it out first, kind of see how they rotate, and then go from there. Okay. Clone positioning. Our team comp is going to be highly dependent on how our Loki places clones. If they have dive or not, does not matter. This clone, I don't hate. I think it's a good clone because wherever you're aimed, they're going to aim. The issue is you have this clone in the way back, kind of not able to heal or do much of anything because the angle's just wrong. I recommend if you were to do this, just put him in the doorway, or, which is actually a pretty decent position, is actually right here on top of the box. It's okay if the clone goes down because these clones are primarily just to kind of build your ult charge and help your team enable them. And also, if you need to escape, you can always just use your switch ability and switch to that clone. I don't think that clone's a smart position in general. One, because it's not helping do damage, not helping heal. On top of, if anyone was to rotate over the back here, that clone goes down. So if you switch to it, you're basically putting yourself in a bad position, right? If they had a flanker. Recommend just kind of moving your clone. Also, one thing I would recommend too is like breakables, which is completely different from Overwatch in general. Like you have what's called breakables. Breakables are basically just walls that are able to break. Looking at your team comp, we are running a Magic and we are running a Hela, right? We need to give our Hela as much open area to shoot from as possible. I would break this wall. Once the match starts, you can shoot the breakables. I would 100% break this wall. So if anyone was to try to go in this area, your Hela can shoot for free and use the natural cover of these boxes to the right or this box here to the left, depending on how the enemy team wants to rotate. Use the breakables, open up this space, just break it wide open. Okay, so they are running the Groot. So this runs into the first issue, right? They're running a Groot. Who actually counters Groot? Or who actually counters the Thing? Groot actually is a pretty good tank against the Thing, because the Thing needs to have a path to sprint from. Since he is basically putting up walls to deny those rotations, you don't get support from your team because the walls are blocking off your supports and you from running away. So it's a free pick every time. I instead, or Thing, instead of running directly at them, go around. Your sprint is long enough, right? I would go around, come around, boop these guys. Heck, even take a fight here. We have a Magic, right? Take a fight here. We can allow our... Who is it? Our other tank is a Magneto, who's already playing here anyway, right? So if we're kind of just here, we're going to charge a punch, do some damage, charge a punch, do some damage, and then just start a run. Start knocking these guys up, and then maybe slam. This way you can jump back to your team, just as an example. Running directly at them like this, you're going to get walled off, and then you're not going to get healed. It's just not going to happen. And that's what ended up happening here. So this is kind of the same thing I mentioned before. Even though like this clone is kind of doing something, it's not enough. We're putting our lamp down to keep us alive, but we should be basically like, we always want to have a clone on the ready at all times. There's no question asked. We should always have a clone at the ready. What that means is when they come to take a fight like this and everyone's kind of grouped up and our team is low, we can throw a clone and immediately throw a lamp. So we'll be able to heal ourselves because we throw a lamp on ourselves, and then we can throw the lamp on our objective before they can break the clone. They have to shoot the lamp, then break the clone, right? So we always want to have one local clone available at all times, so we can just basically lamp our team when necessary. So the Magic's gonna try, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, that was just free. right? I mean, most of this is like understanding your counters, understand like, you know, the thing is a pretty decent tank, but he still struggles quite honestly with a lot of things. Give me 1 second. Right, so the thing is countered by group because the walls basically deny him his sprint. It also denies your heals because if he throws the walls, then, you know, there's nothing we can do. So change your playstyle. It's like how I mentioned before on the first round that we did with FIU, the Panthers, is, you know, when you're playing like, let's say, a Psylocke and they're playing a Loki themselves. Okay, so now we just play poke. We play poke and then we dash in to help. We don't waste abilities. We just go in and we just help as a Psylocke instead of try to flank the whole time. Concept's kind of the same here. Okay, they're running a Groot. I'm playing Thing. He kind of counters me. I don't want to be I don't want to put myself in a situation where he kind of blocks me off from sprinting. So, run around. Choose a different target. Choose a different engagement. Right? Just things to think about. These guys are 100% ready to push in. Look how fast these guys are in this position. Also, they're running 3 tanks. I didn't even just realize they're running 3 tanks, 3 supports. That's a different concept. So what do we do here? For one, I get off the Hela. 100% get off the Hela. I would go something with crazy damage. So one thing you could play, because we want to break the Groot walls to assist our Thing, right? So Punisher is really good. We also maybe want to have a stun. So instead of running like the Loki here, since now we know the team comp and our Loki's at 50%, he can switch and build up pretty quick. I'd switch to either like probably a Luna. If it was, I don't know if it was banned. If Luna's banned, then I would probably play maybe Cloak or Dagger just to deny, you know, the Strange ult, try to help the team. The healing is a little bit easier. If you can play Luna, because it wasn't, I didn't check the bans, and I'm not going to check right now. If you can play Luna, play Luna. If not, I don't think the Loki works here. Not with the team comp, not 3-3, which is so strange. I haven't seen this since like Goats back in Overwatch. But we need to basically do a crap ton of damage. I would get off the Hela, add some, like, obviously the Punisher's a great pick here. You could even do a flyer, right? You could do a flyer just for the simple fact of like they have nothing to really deny the flyer. The Strange can kind of shield you. The Hulk can't get to you. The Groot can kind of only get to you if you're too close, and it adds a lot of good poke. Plus, you're also running a Strange, so if you ran, let's say, Storm or a Iron Man, for example, you can get some decent damage off that. So just understand the team comp. We need to make swaps. This is one of those moments where if you've ever seen like Pro Overwatch or even Pro Marvel, a lot of times people will kind of wait and then make swaps as needed, right? It's like, oh, I see what they're running. We're just going to play with, to counter. It's like counter swapping. That was actually really good. I think our team got too separated here. I think we did a really good job on getting the Hulk. No one's on the objective. There's only one person on the objective. So they're actually down a support right now. They're down 1. The only support they have is actually the Cloak, right? So I would hard push. I'd hard push 100%. I would not stay as grouped as we are here. I mean, I would go shotgun and I just start running in with my tanks here. Yeah, and again, hopefully we switch off this Hela. If we stay on it, we're not helping ourselves. Heck, you could go Punisher Bucky if you really want to. Obviously, you know, if we wanted to run the rocket, I wouldn't recommend it. But at the same time, the infinite ammo is really good at shredding tanks. So if you ran a Punisher Bucky with a rocket instead of the Loki, we can basically just burn through them. And then we would also have a self-res too. We could also hook the magic anytime she tries to dive. So don't be afraid to make swaps. But the Punisher was a good swap. This was actually a good pick from you. Good shotgun usage here. Oh, he goes down, right? No? Okay. Yeah, it's like, because the Punisher, because DPS build ult so fast off tanks, we swap to the Punisher, and then immediately after he basically gets ult and he's shredding. This is why Punisher's so good against like a lot of tanks, because his damage is so consistent and he can build ult so quick off like a Groot alone. So since you have 3 tanks, it's free. Good. Our Punisher should be using his grapple at this point. I don't think that us playing so far forward, it was good when you were ulting, but when you're basically ready to take this fight, where our hell is already set up on the high, like up there, I'd be trying to get to where my team is here, because this gives you such a better angle. I would like, and there was a lot of times where we could have just kind of turned and did so. Kind of, I know. Obviously, we're in ult here. We get out. As soon as we get out, who can chase you down? Only the magic, right? So if we were to use our little grapple, get to this high ground, it's going to cost her a lot of resources to push us. So I would start rotating. I'd start taking a different position almost immediately. Our Loki should be setting up a clone on high ground as well. Even though the double clone here is actually really nice, it's a good move. Put a clone up here, so if the magic does somehow get around the corner, one, Loki's now doing damage and healing from the high ground, because the only one that can contest that is actually going to, they don't have anyone. They have no one to break the clones, truthfully. Not from range. They don't have a single person. So if we were to put a clone up here, we get our Punisher up here, we basically just shoot for free. Heck, you can even go turret for all I care. Oh, what was that? What was that? Looks like the Strange was trying to be cheeky with his ult here. What stunned him? Oh, the Hulk. Okay, so now let's retract here, right? So let's go to our mag. We're gonna go back a little bit here. 4, 3. Communication. Goes right back to communication. I have bubble in 3, right? So our Strange, instead of just jumping in, going for this, our Strange should be like, okay, then I'm going to fly into their backline in 3, 2, 1. There's the bubble, there's the ult, so you can't get stunned out of it by the Hulk. Which, to be fair, the Hulk did a good job. I won't deny. Like, you don't see that very often. You'll see it, that's not true. You'll see it in Celestial and higher, because the Hulks up there in that level are considerably more accurate with their stuns than anyone else I've ever seen. It's actually kind of scary. But we need to call that, right? That's the thing. Like, we have an ability to deny. They don't have anything else. It's just one stun, right? And the Hulk's watching. That's crazy to me that we like don't we bubble it so late because we're not calling it. Loki copies good here. And then they burn. I'm willing to bet the red team is going to swap. I'm willing to bet they're going to start swapping. I don't think they're going to stick to the 3 tanks. If they do, so I'll be very transparent. In scrims, it's not about winning. It's about play testing theories, theory crafting, trying out compositions and different things. So they may stay with it. In a comp game / tournament game, they more than likely probably would not stay on this. So if they do stay, it's because it's a scrim. So this just kind of goes back again, like our Hela. Why are you all the way up here? We have such a prime position right here, and we can see them coming from the left and the main choke. So you just get free damage. You have the best range out of anyone on this map. But why are we taking this fight? Why are we so pushed up? There should be no reason why our Hela should be basically in front of our tanks. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, because what ends up happening is, okay, we're going to kind of poke them out because I have range. but you end up burning resources and forcing rotations that are not needed from your team. It's like the same concept of like when, you know, your one support's taking a lot of damage and the other support has to now heal them, but they can't focus the team because the one support is just consistently taking too much damage because their positioning is bad. It's the same concept here. The Hela is trying to do an early poke, but is not respecting the Hulk's, you know, leap range on top of his stun. So now our Strange has to leave his position to secure a play or protect the Hela, which is not ideal, right? It's not ideal at all. We're forcing our team to make a decision on the fly for no reason. Yeah, once again, I think that the Punisher just melts this team. There's not much that melts 3 tanks. But consistently getting ult every fight is pretty free. So I'm curious if you guys hold this whole time for the next 3 minutes. You might. You might just actually hold them here. We'll see. Okay. So we go into this fight. We should be going into this fight what's called a dry fight. What I mean by a dry fight, unless we have a combo, which right now we have a Hela, Magneto, Strange, and our Invisible Woman ult. We're actually close to a bunch of ults, so we don't necessarily have to go into a dry fight. But I want to kind of explain the concept of a dry fight. So let's say that their ult economy is better than ours, in the sense of we have nothing to deny specific ults, right? We used Punisher before, so when the Hulk's Kona ult, there's nothing we can do to burn him fast enough. We just don't. Same thing with, like, you know, we used our Invisible Woman ult. Well, if they Cloak and Dagger ult and then immediately decide to go for, like, let's say, a Groot ult, then they can, you know, do a lot of damage to us. So you do a dry fight is the concept of you're going to take a fight and force ultimates. Like, you're basically purposely taking a lost fight. And of course, this all is determined on, like, you know, where the payload is, how our positioning is going, how aggressive we're trying to be. You know, there's a lot of variables, but the concept is kind of simple. We know we're gonna lose this fight, so let's try to burn an ult or even take a trade. Right? That's just a simple concept. I didn't realize, looking back at it now, we actually have a good ult economy, so we can actually make something happen here. But this is the communication. It goes right back to that communication, right? We need to capitalize on the Invisible Woman ult that we are using, right? Who would benefit the most from this ult right now, since we don't have Punisher? It would be our Hela, right? If we can force their Cloak and Dagger to, you know, do the invis move, then we just burned an ability. If we force, let's say, Groot to, you know, try to, or even Doctor Strange to block off our Hela, we get value because now their Hulk doesn't get a shield, their backline doesn't get a shield, so our Punisher can just straight shoot the team. We have to play with what we got. We're being too passive here. We need to be more aggressive and attack this full on. We should be using the Hela ult and then be ready for them to counter with another ult on top instead of just letting this happen. And the thing is, we lose everyone basically. We lose everyone. We do get an ult off it. Ooh, why? Why is he opening a portal? Okay, so you go Squirrel Girl. Don't hate the Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl is really good against Groot because of the damage she can do. Plus her ult just bounces for free. They're going to cap this, so I'm just going to back off and see. Oh, I see what he's doing. He was trying to... Okay, I see it. Okay, I get the concept here. They end up getting it, though. It's one of those things where, do we take a fight here? Because we have a few staggers that died late, I would not have taken a fight. I wouldn't even bother portaling. I would let them portal and we just walk up and then take control of the space. We were not recontesting that. We just weren't. We didn't have the characters that we needed. We didn't have the ults available to, you know, honestly retake that fight. Groot's looking for it. Good. But that comes with the second question. Why are we Punisher ulting right now? We just got a good pick, and we applied the pressure to push down their tanks. Their Groot's playing back here, right? We have not seen them. So this is something to note, too. Is like, if you haven't seen a character in a while, where are they, right? They're playing 3 tanks. We only see 2. We just got one of their DPS. Their only DPS. Yeah, 100% I just pushed this. I don't even think the ult's even necessary. I think it's a waste. To be honest, we have the pressure. The Groot's gone, meaning he's around here somewhere. So when we clean them up, we go for a little search party and try to find him. Because then we can cause a really big stagger by trying to find him. But I truthfully believe that this was not an ult we needed to use. We want to use the Punisher ult primarily to try to deny other ults, specifically their Hulk if possible, or even their magic. You can burn through it. You'd also burn through the Cloak and Dagger ult because it doesn't stack anymore, so she's actually super squishy. I still think... Hold on. We did ult that fight. What did we ult? Oh, we became the Punisher. Okay, I retract my statement. I actually retract my statement. I didn't realize it was the Loki copy that was ulting. That's fine. And you're going to do a switch after? Sure. That's fine. I still think Rocket may not be the best pick, but I get it. Right, but where was the Groot that entire time? This is why our supports have to be ult tracking, because they'd be like, I hadn't seen the Groot. Or even your tanks. I haven't seen a specific character. Where are they? Yeah. The whole reason this happened is because we were searching for him late. Right? We kind of had our Squirrel Girl kind of like mark an area. And then immediately kind of be like, oh, there's a person here. And then our Punisher tried to assist, leaving our entire front line to deal with whatever's going on. So they basically used the combo, got our Punisher. They should be able to get the rest. There it is. Because if you did not know, Darkchild, I think it's called, Darkchild, which is Magic's ult, can basically take out a invisible one in her ult. If you did not know that. They're wasting a lot here, though. Like, that's the thing, too, is like, we're losing this fight, man. We're kind of just throwing ults to throw ults right now. We have another chance to take another fight here. Again, this is why I say the Rocket is bad. Simply because the Rocket cannot sustain the damage from the tanks. I think you were better off playing Loki or switching to like a Cloak and Dagger yourself. It's just more beneficial. Rocket and Jeff are good in 3 support compositions, not this. Alright, so then a cap with a minute left. We kind of just started falling apart. We just don't have a plan for what we want to use our ults for, which is a problem. And again, too, you guys need to pick a comp. What works for you guys? Who do you play? Who do you prefer to play, right? Because right now we're kind of just, you're mimicking almost what they play with a few variations. Ooh, I see what they're doing. They're trying to use the team up. Okay. Slow and steady. Slow and steady wins the race. That's why this is working. We're slow, we're steady. Our Hulk, you know, displace people. They turn their focus as soon as you dove in. We're slow, we're steady. We're not over aggressive. We're playing in a position where we have optimal damage and we're denying damage. This is good. They do get the res since they also have a rocket. And we do lose our Iron Man. We get a res back. And then this is what I mean by slow and steady, right? We are a decent brawl at this point. Our Iron Man should be kind of flying around a little bit more. I would have actually recommended probably playing around here and just kind of peek, jiggle peek, right? So shoot, shoot. If you can beam, come down and beam. One thing that a lot of people who play flyers don't realize is it doesn't matter what rank you are. You can't play too high when they have people that have decent aim at this level. And that is why our Iron Man's gone down twice. That was actually such a... Okay. Wow, we actually get the pick. Shut up. That's cool. We'll take it. We'll take it. We will take it. I'll be honest with you. Once I saw this comp, I would have switched off of probably the Iron Man. I mean, we're testing theories, right? I think the issue you're going to run into is that there's too much protection. The Star-Lord's actually your biggest weakness when playing like Storm and or Iron Man. Truthfully, he's really good at controlling angles. Like, 3 seconds. That took 3 seconds. It was just bad play. I'm sorry. It's just a bad play. We end up actually getting the res, which is nice. Good. Our Hulk's doing a very good job here. I actually think what's happening is too many different targets. Too many different targets. We saw the res coming in from the right side here, and we still allowed the Star-Lord to get through. I think that we should have pushed it a little bit harder with like maybe our Punisher going shotgun into the corner where he was resing. We still can flip this. I don't think this is a problem, right? We're still going to get this. But just something to think about is like how we want to like just honestly contest. That's a free pick. But this is what I mean by you're not really good against a Star-Lord as an Iron Man. You don't fly as like you're too. It's not easy to fly around and dodge it. Another thing to note too is I would have our Iron Man playing over here around this choke corner, and just spray and pray. Like it's not even spray and pray, but you're denying this rotation specifically while we're trying to turn the corner, right? So your job is to hold this high ground position, deny them from coming up here, instead of trying to take a fight with, let's say, the Star-Lord, because he does actually counter you pretty easily. If we're able to do that, we can start pushing and pulling focus away, so the Magneto's not able to get up here for an advantage. We don't allow the Star-Lord to kind of follow suit, and now they're able to just shoot down on us. Like, we're putting a lot of emphasis. Like, we're just, to me, I think that we just need to work on positioning primarily individually. Everyone needs to understand their job in the positions they play. Yeah, no way. That's mean. Good stagger, though. How much is left? Quite a bit. I still would get off this rocket, though. Because it's not that Rocket's a bad character. It's not. I think the biggest issue that with Rocket in general is that he's a heal bot. His only utility is basically the self res and his ult that does good damage boost, but that's about it. It's not like running a Mantis who has a sleep plus enabling with a damage boost to your teammate and also able to do damage and heal basically almost at the same time. Luna being able to throw a snowflake. There's just more utility for other characters compared to Rocket, same as like Jeff. They're not bad supports. I'm not saying Jeff and Rocket are bad supports, but they require more you can get more value with other characters that have better utility. He's actually gonna throw a portal for 20 seconds on you guys? That's crazy. That's actually crazy. Yep, everyone press ult. Get the res though. Good. I like that we followed up pretty quick on that. I'm glad you guys are finally taking different angles, better off angles. This is good. Our Rocket now can throw down his res if he needs to. We have our Iron Man holding the left side on top. This is good. This is good. We need more off angles from you guys. Less main, like stop playing main so much. What I mean by main, for those that don't know, is the path of which the payload takes is what we call the main lane, right? So let me try to angle this so you can see this. Clintar's a little bit weird because everything's like just right there. So the main lane is where the payload's going to follow, right? So the payload's going to follow this pathing. An off angle is an angle that is off the main lane, but still not technically behind the enemy team. So like it's not a flank. So off angle. This would still be considered an off angle because you can still get away if you need to. This would be an off angle depending on, if we had anyone to play there. But most of our team, as well as another note too, so not on top of like communication and like an actual strategy going into fights, what combos we're using and all that fun stuff, is also just like stop playing main lane and converge on different angles, right? So we can do so much damage off of different angles. because we can pull the focus, like make them decide on who to focus, and pull that attention away from our main team, where our main team then can apply pressure because we're basically creating space by distracting people. That was a beautiful pull, but it doesn't matter. It goes back to what I was saying before. It's like we need to know what we're going to use at the time of like we want to, right? So what do we have to counter the, Star-Lord and his ult? We don't have anything. We used our Invisible Woman ult, and Rocket can't do it. He just can't. Cloak, you could basically kind of survive. Manta's not so much. Maybe, but barely. Luna, obviously. But if we had an Invisible Woman ult, we just do that. You just use that. I'm willing to assume that they stall you out here. Hold on, they're portaling. So let me slowly rotate back here. Good. Punisher ult was good. Also, to beat triple support, fast burst damage, not consistent damage. Not that the Punisher is a bad pick and or the Iron Man, but we need more burst damage to destroy an entire 3 support backline. I don't understand this. We're this is too flashy. It's too flashy. There is no way we are going to be able to follow up, leaving our Hulk alone against 2 shields. There is no way we're following up to this. Even if you got a 5-man ult right now, we have no way of following up with this play. Our team is too low due to not having any way to defend themselves with the no shield, right? Our Hulk is out of form. This in general was a greedy, flashy, unneeded play. If you want to get some ults, all you have, you can play this, but get it past a certain point, right? We still need to make it all the way over here. This was a complete waste. This was. We had no way of following up with this. And this was basically just a way to get a TikTok clip. It's free. Super free. Used our Invisible Woman ult and our Rocket ult just to apply pressure, enough pressure to get in. Then we use our Hulk ult with 30 seconds remaining. Do you see what I mean by unflashy but needed, right? Yes, they have a Magneto who can also shield. I got you. But if our Hulk dives in and they all turn to the Hulk, and then you go to ult, you may be able to get 1 or 2 because people are going to start running away, which is also called kiting, from when our Hulk does something, as an example. Or maybe now that we have a Hela, our Hela lands 2 good headshots, takes someone out, and they start backing off because they're down a player. Just as an example. This happens because they're not being flashy. You are trying to be flashy. We cannot do that. Yeah, this is Yeah, this is it. Okay. Okay. So the takeaways from this is just like the first VOD is you guys need to work on your communication, have a strategy of what you're doing. One thing I'm gonna add is better off angles and positioning, primarily positioning. Normally, when you guys have a strategy of what you're going to use and what you're going to do, you're going to have an idea of like how you want to position off that. But if not, then we need to have a better understanding of like what position is optimal for what we are going against. We don't need to be face tanking people as a Punisher, even though he's good against 3 tanks. We can burst through the damage pretty simply and build our ult from a higher ground position when they don't have anything to counter us. In this, we didn't have enough burst damage. Burst damage can be as simple as like, the one-shot combo from like Magic, or like a good Psylocke is actually good against triple support. You could even do, I wouldn't say Black Panther, but he's really not that good. You could do the Thing, just because the fact that they basically are going to have to, focus on healing themselves when you're going in for your dash and slam. Like, there's a lot we could have played here. But it's not my job to, tell you guys what to play, because I don't know what heroes you all decide you're good with. But go in with a strategy. Build a team comp, play it, figure out the quirks of why it's working, why it's not working, and then just keep it pushing. I'm more than happy to do more VODs for this team. I hope you guys appreciate it. If you did, please like, share, follow, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one.